Every interaction with a person in a business context is an opportunity to increase your personal brand equity and build trust.
All these examples that you hear that, hey, the best salesman is someone who can sell ice to an Eskimo.
Yeah.
And no one really talks about that, hey, the Eskimo doesn't need ice. I always tell founders, don't build your company for the VC. Don't build it for the investor. Build it for yourself.
Build it for the overall value creation for all stakeholders. Actually, if you build a good company, you get a better deal on the table.
Right.
Pretty much, right? You know,
To build that kind of business, you first of all, you need to be really passionate about that business. It can't be the next big thing. You can't say, hey, right now there's AI wave. Let's just use AI buzzword and raise capital and then we'll figure out.
Today, I think you are in a better place, Pushkar, because with all the LLMs out there, the world's knowledge, data, everything is available to you in your phone. It's a lot easier today than 5 years back because of LLMs.
Yeah, but on the flip side, how I would like to think of it is AI has created a level playing field.
Yes.
What internet there, but it has also taken away your moat. Because now for the next guy, the kind of information you have is also available to the next guy.
Yeah. So you need to keep innovating at rapid pace.
You can only defend your product, you can only build a long-term moat if you really want to do it for 20 years.
So that's why I think fundamentally a lot of LLMs will fail in the enterprise space because enterprises will all have their own customized LLMs which will be inside the org. They're not going to give the data out.
The only advice I give to all founders is, if you're building a company, don't build it for a VC. Build it for yourself, your customers, and build it for 15, 20 years.
I have the same advice I want to give VCs as well, that if you're building a VC firm, think about it for the next 20 years. Don't think about it for the next 5 years or 10 years. If you want to build a world-class VC firm, you have to think about 2 decades. Because that's long. That's a bare minimum of how long it takes to build your brand equity and pick fundamentally good companies. I mean, I would rather be an operator in this market than be an entrepreneur. I mean, investor.
And also the challenge with Indian VCs is very few of them operators, number one. Number two, it's not even their money. Most of these are MBA guys, who are just managing someone else's money, right? And they really don't have a skin in the game because first of all, they're not investing their money. Like if you look at the US, all these VC guys, all these big operator VCs, they have invested their money along with other LPs' money, right? In India, you're just an employee.
If you want to start a VC fund in India or in emerging markets, you got to think it's a 20-year startup game.
And I would also add something on this, that don't start it when you're fresh out of college. No matter how well connected you are, how much capital you think you can raise. Build a company for 10 years.
Yeah.
First thing is become an operator, become a founder. When you're 35, then launch a fund. And also invest your money.
And do you see the need for founders to get better at sales?
I don't like how Indian founders do sales. In general, a large majority of founders, because a lot of it's around push sales. You're just pushing your product. Very few Indian founders say, hey, I really want to understand as a customer your pain point
What is your problem?
and then solve it. Your problem might be X. I have built Y. Now, for me, sales is to convince you to buy Y.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it solves your problem, doesn't solve your problem. A lot of it is gimmicky, push marketing, digital campaigns. You're just trying to convince someone to buy a wrong product, the product that he or she might not even need. Like all these examples that you hear that, hey, the best salesman is someone who can sell ice to an Eskimo.
Yeah.
And no one really talks about that, hey, the Eskimo doesn't need ice.
Yeah.
Like give him something that he actually needs. What is his pain point?
Every interaction with a person in a business context is an opportunity to increase your personal brand equity and build trust. So when you're playing that game, you obviously play a consultative sales approach. He wants X, you have Y. Understand why does he need X? Is it X that he really needs? It sometimes might be a Y at a later point in time. If it is an X, then tell him, listen, I only have Y, but I can probably guide you to an X and then walk away. Even if you don't do the sale, it's fine because this guy will remember you.
Right.
That you actually gave him the most concrete advice and you helped him in the process. So at some point in time, he might come back to you because you actually added value and acted in a very neutral fashion.
How do you build a product company?
I think you understand the problem statement first. Which industry, which problem? Delve very deeply into the problem. Is it worth solving for? Is somebody else solving it? Can you solve it better? Basically, you got to figure that out first.
How do you find the right problem?
Ideally, the right problem is something that you experience firsthand. And then you validate that by talking to the relevant people who might have the same problem or a similar problem. And you shouldn't get skewed towards the people that you know. So you got to ask for a broader base to understand if that problem exists.
Is it possible to solve a problem by first building a service around it and then creating a product?
Absolutely, a lot of people have done that, right? So you can do both the approaches. The moonshot approach would be to build the product first, where you need capital, you need the right people. The other way to do it is build a service so that you get your frameworks correct. You work with enough capital because the customer pays you and the customer gives you knowledge about the problem statement. So you get enough meat around it to build the solution.
What's the biggest challenge in building a service business?
People. I think people are the biggest challenge in a lot of things because you got to get those people aligned to do what you want them to do at the pace that you want them to do. I think all the uncertainty is with people. If we were just running machines from one end to the other end, there would be no uncertainty.
How do you think before investing in a company as an investor?
I think some of the best investors are cold-blooded, unemotional people. Not that they don't have empathy, but when they make an investment decision, they're very cold-blooded, unemotional. They look at what the facts are, rate the team, rate the opportunity. Is it the best use of my money? Can this team make it? What have they built? What do they need to build? What are the risks that will stop them from getting to where they need to get to? How have you made your investment thesis and how you looked at managing founders or picking the right founders?
What you should look at is, are these the right people who can build this, what they're claiming to build? Now, of course, market size is one thing, but I don't really care if it's a $1 billion market or a $100 billion or a $10 billion market. 1 billion is big enough for me. Can they build this? Do they have the right skill set to build this? And number two, why do they want to build this? What are their motivations?
Yeah, so do they have the heads in the right places, right?
This is what I try to assess. Because if they can build it, if they have the right reason to build it, they will somehow figure out a way. They will build it if they are smart guys, if they really want to do it. If they're not doing it quickly for money. So I never ask these questions like what is my exit or how do you plan to make an exit? What's your 5-year plan? What's a 10-year plan? I would rather have people, founders, who know what problem they're trying to solve. And I'm also very curious about how did they discover that problem? That it's a problem worth solving for.
So I've actually recalibrated myself to a large extent. I've now started proactively thinking how I can manifest an exit in 3 years to 5 years. It could be a partial as well. So I'm very clear, I am long on you. I can stay with you for that journey, but I want X% return on my cash. I want to work my money.
No, of course.
Yeah. So can you build something which throws out positive cash flow or gets other things aligned where somebody is more interested in tapping on or you're getting more money and you fundamentally build a good business? I don't care whether you've raised VC, not raised VC. Are you on the right path? Are you compounding positively from sales, product, customer success? That's what I care about.
So then what trade do you look at that gives you that confidence that, hey, this guy can do this in 3 years or 5 years?
When I have interactions with you, I kind of figure out that you've thought very deeply over the problem. You might not have the solution whatever. The fact that you spent the effort to think very deeply about the problem and the nuances of it shows me the conviction that you're in it to do something. Again, you need to do due diligence of really identifying whether that person is there. Is he fakifying or is he really done it? But I think these two indicators, genetically, do you have it? Are you trainable? Are you receptive to
Feedback.
And have you thought deeply about a problem?
One of the points that you said is, how deeply have you thought about this problem?
Mm.
Now, if let's say you're trying to solve some problem, first of all, I should also know about that problem, that industry. And if you say, hey, I'm building this AI startup and I don't know anything about AI, there's no way I'll be able to ask you any question, any intelligent question.
Yeah.
So before investing, we always look at, hey, do we even understand this industry? Number one. Number two, then I believe if you spend 1 hour with the founder, if you ask them deep questions, and if they have the right answers, that means they have spent a lot of time researching the problem. And then what we try just to assess is, all right, these guys, they know the problem, they have done their research. Can they solve it? You try to assess their background, how they are trying to solve it. Does the approach make sense to you or not? Because there's no one approach to solve any problem. There could be like 10, 15 different ways. If you think the way this person is trying to solve this problem makes sense to you, then it's worth investing.
Sure.
As an investor, you should never try to change the founder's approach, because then you would rather build that company. And of course, most of your bets don't pay off, but that's fine. That's the nature of the...
Yeah, that's the nature of the asset class, right? Yeah. You have any thoughts on the fact that a lot of startups fail because there's co-founder conflict?
Yes, I think so. And there's also enough research on that, that 60-70% startups fail because of co-founder conflict. And one question I'm never able to answer is satisfactory when there is some smart guy who says, hey, I'm looking for a co-founder, how do I find one? And there's no good answer for that. Because ideally, you should have known your co-founder for years. Either you should be school
Yeah, ideal situation.
ex-colleagues. Now, let's say you are 25, 26, 30-year-old guy. You want to build a company and you can't find anyone to build that company with. It's impossible to find the right guy. Or at least the chances, anyways, building a startup is a tough job. Now, you're just making your life even more difficult. The odds of success are even lower. If you're saying, hey, I want to build this and I need to find a co-founder. I think those companies usually don't succeed.
These set of episodes of Building in India, we're much gracious in order to be partners with Atomic. That is a pretty cool co-working and managed office space in Trivandrum. And Pushkar, I presume you're kind of happy to come back to Trivandrum and use the Atomic as a facility for our podcast.
Yes. I think it's a beautiful space. How they have designed the entire area and the community focus around it is just fabulous. Our hosts, they were very generous to show me the entire facility. And I have to say, this is one of the best co-working places I have been to all over the India. I'm honestly surprised to find such a place in Trivandrum. I didn't expect something like this in Trivandrum. We just love the space. And whenever we are next in Trivandrum, we would again shoot here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And look forward to seeing you in the next episode.